All right. So for week 10, Tuesday, just a little bit of a poetry connection to Fahrenheit 451, as well as the beginnings of correcting the narrative essays. So I'm going to talk about this first, and then I'll go over the poem. So in order to do the narrative corrections, you would obviously have to open up your narrative document, so the one that you wrote and submitted to me on Canvas. And then when you open up your narrative, you should see a variety of comments and suggestions. For the suggestions, it will just have, directly what you need to do. Maybe it says something like delete space or, delete a word or something like that. And if you press the check mark for those suggestions, it should actually fix it for you. So you just have to click on them, make sure you understand them. For the comments, and a lot of those will have numbers in them, you will want to use Grammar Book and a Page, or you can use your Guide to Grammar Book and a Page document. Obviously, that one's a bit on the longer side, but same sections, exact same numbers and letters and everything. And you would want to use this as a guide to understand how to fix your mistakes. So, for example, if you have 1C, that indicates that you need a comma before a coordinating conjunction, like so, the comma that goes just before the conjunction in this sentence. So once you add that comma, then you can press the check mark or the resolve button or whatever shows up there now, and then the comment will disappear. Obviously, Google does not know if you have fixed it correctly. So once you resolve all of your comments and fix all of the issues, then you can turn in the website URL to your document here in the narrative corrections location so that I know that you're ready for me to check it, and I can check and make sure that you actually fixed those things correctly. So if you are not fixing those things correctly, then that obviously indicates some difficulty in understanding a particular grammatical or punctuation related issue. And that would be something that we should work on and help you understand. So you can, do very well on grammar punctuation stuff on the ACT, as well as on other essays and life things. So anyways, check out your narrative and see if you can start making corrections to that. The only reason that the due date for this is so far away is because typically a lot of people need multiple rounds to be able to actually get their document correct. So you may go through once and resolve 20 comments, and then maybe I reopen 10 of them, and maybe you have to go through and resolve those 10, and then I reopen 5, and we just keep kind of ping-ponging it back and forth until we finally get it all worked out. So it is possible that you will be making multiple submissions to this assignment. Okay, back to poetry. The Unknown Citizen. So I really like this poem to connect to Fahrenheit 451, even though it was written well before Fahrenheit 451, I think about 20 years before Fahrenheit 451. It has some similar things going on thematically. We definitely have a, what's the word I'm looking for? Controlling, kind of dissociated and apathetic government system in this Unknown Citizen poem. And we have some very interesting things in terms of rhetoric and figurative language kind of stuff, and word choice, I think, is very, very significant in this poem. So it's got some stuff that's good for us to notice in prose, and I don't give you a ton of poetry, so I want to make sure that you are not suffering for lack of it, because I wouldn't want you to become poetry deficient under my instruction. So, The Unknown Citizen by W.H. Auden. And this little, what's the word I'm looking for? Like little prelude, little epigraph thing, would be an inscription upon a gravestone. To JS/07M378, this marble monument is erected by the state. He was found by the Bureau of Statistics to be one against whom there was no official complaint, and all the reports on his conduct agree that in the modern sense of an old-fashioned word, he was a saint. For in everything he did, he served the greater community. Except for the war till the day he retired, he worked in a factory and never got fired, but satisfied his employers, Fudge Motors, Inc. Yet he wasn't a scab or odd in his views, for his union reports that he paid his dues. Our report on his union shows it was sound, and our social psychology workers found that he was popular with his mates and liked to drink. The press are convinced that he bought a paper every day and that his reactions to advertisements were normal in every way. Policies taken out in his name prove that he was fully insured, and his health card shows he was once in hospital but left it cured. Both Producers Research and High Grade Living declare he was fully sensible to the advantages of the installment plan and had everything necessary to the modern man: a phonograph, a radio, a car, and a Frigidaire. Our researchers into public opinion are content that he held the proper opinions for the time of year. When there was peace, he was for peace. When there was war, he went. He was married and added 5 children to the population, which our eugenist says was the right number for a parent of his generation, and our teachers report that he never interfered with their education. Was he free? Was he happy? The question is absurd. Had anything been wrong, we should certainly have heard. All right, so the style of this poem, it is written as if it is a eulogy, as if it is a speech to be delivered upon someone's death, which is why I specified that this is an inscription that would appear on a gravestone. So the questions that I ask you about this poem, a lot of them are just very practical. Who is the speaker? If you tell me W.H. Auden, that is wrong. No, W.H. Auden is the author. The speaker is definitely not someone, of this world. So think about what kind of position this person might have to be delivering, all this information. But yeah, so there's the surface level, here's who the speaker is, here's what they are saying, here are the facts. But then there's the implications of having a eulogy that is delivered in this way. Think about the things you would expect from a eulogy in our time, a time where, people have emotions and feelings and things. What do you notice about this eulogy and what it has or what it is lacking in some ways? So anyways, I can definitely imagine in Montag's society, someone delivering this eulogy for a member of society who had passed on. Of course, in Montag's society, they didn't even have funerals because funerals themselves were too unhappy. So perhaps a slightly pre-Montag era society. But anyways, so that is your poetry challenge for today. And I don't believe I made the questions due until after you would take the test. Let me double check on that. Yes, October 23rd. Yeah, didn't make them due until Friday, so you've got a few days to wrestle with that. If you are an A-Day student, you'll take the test tomorrow. So B-Day students, you would feel free to continue to work on these items. And then if you are a B-Day student, you'll take the test Thursday. So A-Day students can have that day to extend their working. So yeah, that's all for Tuesday.